The Harmony Springs Library stood as a quiet haven, its walls lined with the weight of stories untold. The air was infused with the comforting aroma of aged paper and the soft rustle of turning pages. Emily Bennett, the town's librarian, moved gracefully among the shelves, her fingertips grazing the spines of well-worn books. Amidst the quiet elegance of the Harmony Springs Library, Emily Bennett moved with a grace that echoed the stories contained in the weathered books that surrounded her. Her chestnut hair, tied in a loose bun, framed a face adorned with a gentle determination that mirrored the soft glow of the vintage lamps overhead. Emily's attire, a subtle blend of practicality and understated elegance, hinted at a woman who found solace not just in the words within the pages, but in the very essence of the stories she curated. The golden hues of the library's ambient light played on the edges of her features, revealing a quiet strength in her hazel eyes that seemed to hold the wisdom of 1,000 tales. Her slender fingers delicately traced the spines of the books, an intimate dance with the literary treasures that filled the shelves. Emily's demeanor, though reserved, carried a warmth that welcomed patrons into the sanctuary of the written word. She exuded an air of quiet authority, a librarian whose presence was as integral to the library as the stories themselves. In the tranquil haven of the Harmony Springs Library, Emily Bennett stood as both guardian and guide, a curator of worlds waiting to be discovered, and perhaps a character in a tale yet to unfold. The bell above the door gently jingled, announcing the arrival of a figure whose presence seemed to carry the spirit of the prairie into the quietude of the Harmony Springs Library. Jake Dawson, a rugged silhouette against the soft glow of bookshelves, stepped inside. Emily looked up from the worn pages of a classic novel, her hazel eyes meeting Jake's, two worlds colliding in the hush of the library. His weathered cowboy hat cast a shadow over piercing blue eyes that took in the unfamiliar surroundings.
Good afternoon. Welcome to the Harmony Springs Library. How can I help you today?
Afternoon, I got a letter saying there's some library issue that needs attending to. Name's Jake Dawson.
Emily Bennett, the librarian at your service. Library issues aren't a common occurrence around here. Let me check what's going on.
As Emily navigated through a labyrinth of shelves, Jake took a moment to absorb the stillness of the library. The rhythmic tapping of Emily's fingers on the keyboard became a subtle soundtrack to the encounter.
Here it is. Seems like a minor technical glitch in our system. Nothing too dramatic, but we do appreciate your prompt response, Mr. Dawson.
Call me Jake. Mr. Dawson makes me sound like my granddad.
Jake it is, then. We'll have this sorted in no time. Feel free to browse while I work on this.
As Jake wandered through the aisles, his gaze lingered on the titles, his fingers grazing the spines. The contrast between the rugged cowboy and the serenity of the library created an intriguing tableau, a convergence of worlds that hinted at stories waiting to unfold in the heart of Harmony Springs. With nimble fingers dancing across the keyboard, Emily swiftly resolved the minor technical glitch that had disrupted the tranquility of the library. Jake, surrounded by the whispered promises of countless stories, observed the librarian at work.
There we go. Issue resolved. The Harmony Springs Library is back to its peaceful self.
Impressive. You sure know your way around these books and computers.
Emily smiled.
It comes with the territory. So, Jake, since you've wandered into the realm of literature, any particular genre or author that strikes your fancy?
Jake hesitated.
Well, I can't say I'm much of a reader, but there's something about those old Western novels. Louis L'Amour, for example. I reckon they capture the spirit of the prairie.
Emily nodded.
A man of the land appreciates tales of the land. L'Amour is a classic choice. Have you read The Lonesome Gods?
Yeah, how'd you know?
Emily laughed.
Call it a librarian's intuition. Now my turn. I'm more of a mystery and suspense kind of reader. Agatha Christie, Arthur Conan Doyle, those are my go-to authors.
Mystery, huh? I guess that fits the quiet vibe of this town.
Sometimes the biggest mysteries are found in the smallest places. What about you? Any other genres you'd like to explore?
Maybe. I've never given it much thought, but standing in a library surrounded by all these books, it's got me thinking.
Their conversation meandered through the aisles, bridging the gap between a cowboy and a librarian, two individuals finding common ground in the boundless world of literature. As the sun dipped lower in the Harmony Springs sky, the library became a haven where the whispers of stories past mingled with the promise of tales yet to be written. Amidst the hush of the library, Jake and Emily found themselves engrossed in a conversation that transcended the spoken word. Unspoken tensions lingered between them, like the quiet rustle of pages turning in the background, a subtle undercurrent beneath the surface of their dialogue. Emily looked into Jake's eyes.
There's something about this town, isn't there? A quietness that holds more than meets the eye.
Jake nodded.
Harmony Springs is different. It's like every street has a story to tell, and I reckon some of those stories are best left untold.
As the words hung in the air, the library seemed to respond with a collective murmur, a symphony of whispers that hinted at secrets embedded in the very fabric of the town.
You'll find that the shadows here have a language of their own. They speak in echoes of the past and the uncharted paths of the future.
Shadows with a language? Now, that's poetic.
Poetry has a way of capturing truths that prose sometimes misses.
The air in the library crackled with a subtle energy, a dance of unspoken sentiments and shared mysteries. The books themselves seemed to nod in agreement, their covers concealing narratives that begged to be unraveled.
Well, Emily, it's been an unexpected pleasure. I never thought I'd find myself lost in the quiet corridors of a library.
Sometimes the most unexpected places hold the greatest discoveries.
As Jake made his way to the door, the library whispered its farewells. A soft rustle of pages, a creak of shelves settling into the embrace of the evening. The bell above the door jingled once more, marking Jake's departure from the sanctuary of books and the beginning of a tale that promised to unfold in the shadows of Harmony Springs. In the quiet hours of the afternoon, Emily sat behind the library desk, the soft glow of a desk lamp casting a warm pool of light. Tom, the other librarian, approached with a stack of returned books.
Emily, you look like you've been lost in the pages of some epic novel. Anything exciting happening in the world of literature?
Emily smiled.
Always, Tom. But I need a break from the quiet today. Thinking of heading to Tony's coffee shop for a breath of fresh air. Want anything?
A cup of that Honduran charm Tony always talks about would do wonders. You sure you're not just going for the coffee, though?
Oh, it's the caffeine-induced creativity, Tom. It's a real thing, you know.
Emily teased. Tom laughed.
Well, I'm counting on you to bring back some of that creativity for our library shelves. Don't let the coffee shop steal all our best ideas.
I'll do my best. See you in a bit.
As Emily gathered her things and made her way to the door, Tom's laughter echoed through the library, a reminder that even in the quietest corners of Harmony Springs, camaraderie and shared moments were as abundant as the stories waiting to be discovered. In the heart of Harmony Springs, where the aroma of freshly brewed coffee wafted through the air, Tony Martinez, the owner of the local coffee shop, stood behind the counter. His perpetual smile and lively eyes welcomed patrons like old friends. With his salt and pepper hair and a well-worn apron, Tony embodied the comforting spirit of a town's beloved gathering place.
Well, if it isn't Emily, the guardian of stories, what brings you to my humble abode today?
He said cheerfully.
Just seeking refuge from the library's silence, Tony. I swear sometimes these books whisper so loudly.
Loud whispers from books? Now that's a unique problem. Let me guess, Tolstoy causing a ruckus again?
Emily laughed.
Dostoevsky, actually, but close enough. What's brewing today?
The usual magic. A dash of Colombian beans, a sprinkle of Honduran charm, and a hint of caffeine-induced creativity. The perfect blend for a day in Harmony Springs.
You should write your coffee descriptions. You'd give those novels a run for their money.
Well, I like to think I'm brewing more than just coffee here. So what can I get you today? The usual?
The usual sounds perfect, Tony. You always know how to bring a touch of warmth to this town.
He handed her a cup.
Warmth is my specialty, my friend. Now spill the beans. What's the latest chapter in the life of Emily Bennett?
Emily leaned on the counter.
Oh, just the usual library tales and the mysteries that books like to keep to themselves. You know how it is.
Tony leaned in with a conspiratorial whisper.
Well, if those books ever get too secretive, you send them my way. I'll brew them a cup of truth serum.
Emily laughed.
I'll keep that in mind, Tony. Your coffee might be the key to unlocking their mysteries.
You're not the first to think so. Now go on, enjoy that cup of mystery-solving elixir. And if the books get too rowdy, you know where to find me.
Tony winked. In the warm embrace of Tony's coffee shop, Emily and Tony's banter echoed the familiarity of old friends, a bond steeped in the rich brew of shared stories and cherished moments.